speak to the pastor.
Completely unscripted. Displaying a healthy member and pastor relationship. Going one-on-one with your pastor. So sit back, get in the hot seat, mic up, and tell us why you still go to church on the I Still Go to Church podcast.
Well. What's up, everybody? Bishop Chris Johnson here, bringing you another episode of the I Still Go to Church podcast. I'm sitting down with 100 of my members at Zion Christian Ministries, just asking them simply, why do you still go to church? We need to know. And today, I have another daughter of Zion that I'm excited to introduce to some, Miss Ebony James. Ebony, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Well, good. Well, you're a 10-month member.
I am.
Of Zion Christian Ministries. Why Zion?
Listen, it's so many reasons. I was finna say, why not? Which is a good answer also, but I've always felt at home here, actually, from the time, I'm from here originally.
Yeah.
I moved to Florida. I was in Florida for about 17 years. And when I came back, I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. My home church had a pastor, and I went there and I did a little church hopping, and I came here and with my niece, Maya. And I loved it ever since. You reminded me a lot of my other bishop in Florida, actually. So it felt homely.
Felt homely. When you came, you felt at home, and I love that. I always love to hear people say it just felt like family.
Yeah.
Because as you know now, being in some of our leadership and team meetings, we intentionally tried to do that.
Yes.
A lot of times people join church, and it was good on the front end, right? Because you come in, and churches try to put on this show to get you to join. But after 10 months, you've now come on the team. You've been to the retreat. You've seen us in leader labs. What has been something that you could say would be a level of consistency for you? Like, okay, this is not just a show. Or did you even experience that?
I have. The consistency, the love shown, number one, because no one wants to be anywhere they don't feel the love.
Yeah.
And I genuinely felt it. And it seemed like everybody here is like they're really trying to live what we're learning.
Wow.
And so that's a lot, because you can go anywhere and people teach you, and that's the church life.
Yeah.
But here it seems like everyone is really, it's a lifestyle instead of just a churchy thing,
Yeah.
And I love that.
Well,
it helps me.
I know I love Zion because it's Zion Christian Ministries, but I know I'm a pastor, but
and what
I love Zion just because of, like you said, the authentic relationships you build and the people that are here. They're just real. I love that about our church, is that what you see is what you get. Yes. I had to ask you. Now, that's Zion Christian Ministries. That's why do you, after the pandemic, after we see what's happening in 2023 now, the new age movements we see taking place, the rise of, I guess, what you would say, those black political movements, why is it still important for you to go to church?
I need to not forsake the assembly. That online church, no offense against nobody, anybody that's online, but I need to touch people.
I
need to be able to, I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
I'm a servant at heart. I like to do things for people. I want to be in the midst, because not that I can't feel that same spirit at home, but sometimes you need a little push, and sometimes when you're around like-minded people and we're all worshiping the same good God that we serve, it gives you that push.
Yeah.
It's like, I want some of that. I want some of that. But what if you're at home, if you don't get it, you don't got it. But if you're here, you in the building, the spirit jumps.
Yeah.
That's why you have to be careful with, who you let pray for you and stuff like that, because I don't want none of that. But I'm trying to get in where I fit in and take whatever he has for me. Even if I have to get it via someone else, however I can get it.
Now, you said you're trying to get in where you fit in. I love your spirit because you've come in and you have a servant's heart. You just come in like, hey, wherever I can serve, whatever I could do to help advance the kingdom. Not everybody, Ebony. I don't know if you know this or not. I've been pastoring for 17 years now. Not everybody's like that.
Right.
There are some people who need extra attention. There are some people who come in and you got to say their name at least 5 times a month. You know, where did you develop this idea of I'm coming in and I understand, like what you just said, I have to get in where I fit in. I have to do what God has called me to do. Where did you get your servant's heart from?
I'm going to say I was born this way because I've always been the one to help. I'm the youngest child, and I've had to help take care of my grandfather and my grandmother, and my mom has Alzheimer's, and she lives with me, so I have to take care of her. But I just see if there is a need, I don't have to wait for nobody to call me to do it. If I see that your shoe is untied and you're busy, hold on, let me get that real quick.
Wow.
And I'm not trying to impress anybody because He's going to be glorified. So even if you don't see me, I could care less if I get recognition or not. Yes, and as we spoke in Leader Lab today, it does feel good sometimes for people to acknowledge, oh yeah, I see you, but I don't have to have it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really doing it for you,
Ooh. But it's so interesting you say that because in my experience, I think I've asked you this once before. I've heard so many things about me that have gotten back to me. I think I asked you this, and maybe we can revisit this question. Or before you came to Zion, when you were just visiting, did you hear anything about me? Did you hear any rumors, anything? And I'm very brave for asking you this question. But I think this is the part of this conversation that people need to hear, because a lot of people don't go to church because of what they hear about the pastor or the church. Did you hear anything? And if so, be it good or bad, what did you hear?
Truthfully, I haven't heard anything. And I don't know if it's because I try to be careful of the people that I'm around also. So I don't want, and anybody that knows me, well, before I started coming here, I never really got anything. All I heard was really good stuff. Oh, Bishop is this. Because mind you, I heard about you and Zion from my niece Maya.
Got you.
And then when I started coming, I'm like, okay. And then the teaching methods, you use the same, similar methods as the bishop I had in Florida. And I never gotten anything. And they dare not say nothing now because they know you my bishop. And I'm not, don't say nothing about my bishop, my first lady, my church, nothing, because I'm not having that. So I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't get any of that.
Wow. One of the things I've heard said about me is that I'm arrogant. Do you pick that up from me?
I do not. No, I don't get arrogance. Confident.
Confident.
Yeah. Because you know what you know. So arrogance, I guess they say sometimes it's a thin line between arrogance and confidence, but I don't get that from you.
Let me ask you this.
I'm one of the ones, let me tell you a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with speaking. And I don't have a problem with being corrected. If I step out of line, please let me know. Listen, Eb, that's not what we doing. We don't, let me know. But I don't have a problem with verbalizing anything because I try to be very careful when I use the words that I use. Before I say anything, okay, so I'm going to Bishop with this. How am I going to say this? Let me make sure. I try to think about what I'm saying because I don't want to have to say, oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I want you to get it. I work on my delivery. I guess that's what I should say.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So what are your expectations for me as your pastor?
I think anyone's expectations of their pastor would be to live the life that you're preaching. And again, I expect you to correct me if I'm wrong. That's really what I need. That's really what I need because, you can get, I don't need a yes man or a yes girl or, none of that just because you want me to do something. Well, let me just do that. Don't be complete. Be who you are. Stay real to the cause. Stay committed to the cause. and know that I'll follow you. As long as I believe that you're hearing from Christ and you're following him, I will follow you.
And I feel that, the ones from a pastor's perspective, the ones who we really, really know, like if I was stuck in a hole and I had to call somebody, I feel like you're one of those people. And I don't know if maybe that has a lot to do with how you were raised. Maybe that has a lot to do with the teaching and training you've received from previous pastors and churches. But I really feel like that about you. And you've only been here 10 months, Yeah. And so I really appreciate and value that. In you. And so I always ask that question because I really want to know how I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm going to ask you that question. How am I, as your pastor, if you had to rate me 1 to 10, how am I doing?
I'm going to say you're doing about a 9.
A 9?
Yeah, because there's always room for growth.
Well, help me with the 1%. What can I do?
You want to be a 10?
I want to be a 10. I'm too competitive to be a 9.
You're not Jesus.
Yeah.
You're not Jesus, Bishop.
Well, that's awesome, and I want to grow, and I want every one of my members to feel like I'm really doing the best I can. I have a family, I have a life,
right?
I have other things, but I really, really, I want to know, okay, what are your expectations? And if I sit here like I'm doing with 100 people, I'm so interested to know how different all of these answers are going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to, I think Sister Lee had a different expectation. Pastor Ellison had a different expectation. And to hear you say your expectations, like it just puts in perspective to me that I have to be, the pastor for you that you need. But then I have to be real with myself to realize I can't be what everybody needs me to be.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I appreciate, though? Not only do I appreciate your realness, I appreciate, y'all should know this about my bishop, he's very silly. And I love that because that makes you more real to me because I'm silly, and I like to have a good time. And I don't know why people think once you're saved, you got to be, I'm still silly. God made me this way,
yes,
and I like to have a good time in the Lord, you know.
Yes.
So I appreciate that too. The sermons are bananas. I love the way you teach. I think everybody can get something from it, from the seasoned saints to the babes in Christ. I think you cover a whole lot of ground. You're everybody's pastor. Wow. That's what I feel. You're everybody's pastor.
Oh, shucks. I didn't even know I could blush.
You're doing a good job.
Wow. That's awesome. I am so thrilled that at this stage in my pastorate, I'm halfway through a generation. So like I'm in my 17th year. God is just showing me some things that as I reflect, he's showing me some things about the next 15 years. And I think one of the lessons I'm learning is to do this more, to be more relational, to hear, from the people, how are you doing as a pastor? Because I'll never grow if I don't understand, if I'm hitting the target on that, I need to know that. If I'm missing, I need to know that as well. So like I really, really thank you for your honesty and input. So we have a segment that we do on this podcast where we give you, the member, an opportunity to ask me any 3 questions you want. And this is called the hot seat.
Ooh, it's hot. Lord, I feel like I'm in the hot seat.
So here we are, the hot seat. You can ramble off any 3 questions you want to ask me, and I'll do my best.
Okay. So when I was in Florida, I was the armor bearer for my first lady. And, I know there's a certain relationship that you have, there's a little trust level. Now, as far as you and Lady T are concerned, I do know that the anointing is attractive. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine how many ladies out there is really just trying to, give you the eye. How do you and Lady T handle that? I mean, because I hear your sermons, and it's like that's that thing. That's one of your absolutes, But how do you guys handle that?
Woo. So let me say this. I'm gonna try to condense this.
Okay.
I played D1 football at MTSU. Go Blue Raiders. And let me tell you, I did not get the temptation playing football at the level that I get or have gotten when I said yes to the call. I was doing, from the time I started preaching, I was doing revivals on the road. I'm a preacher at heart. I love preaching. And I was doing revivals on the road. And let me tell you, I learned a lot that I didn't know in the preaching world. Number one thing I learned, not all these preachers and pastors are saved. Some of them are wolves in sheep clothing. I had to learn that for myself. My dad told me, he tried to prepare me for it, but I had to learn that for myself. And I just was on the road, and like some of the behaviors and lifestyles I saw, I'm like, I looked up to this guy, And so you get in that environment, and yeah, ladies, like you said, they try you. What helped me is I'm authentically who I am. I'm a man of character and integrity. I was on the football field. I am in the pulpit. I don't just preach this. I live this. This is who I am. So what has helped me be consistent over all these years, how God has kept me, I know my weaknesses. I don't put myself in those positions. When that temptation comes, I hit it straight head on, call it out. And so, no, this is not me. This is not who I am, and you will not. Right? And that has helped me. Now, my wife, because I have done that and been consistent doing that, she has built a level of trust that says she don't need to jump at every woman who bats her eye, or every time I'm hugging ladies at the door, or every time I'm, having conversations with a young lady, she's not around the corner peeping somewhere. That conversation was too long because she trusts me to handle what I need to handle. The nature of my job, I have to deal with women. So the nature of my call, I have to pray for, minister to, preach to, and I have to encourage women. The reason why she's not bothered, I do a good job of making her know she's the one and only. And she didn't have a reason to be threatened nor insecure about anything. So that's what has helped us. Sorry, I don't, and maybe you can ask her that question, but I.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's just because that's something I spoke to my old first lady about. I had that conversation with her. So question number 2. So I know we talk about the balance, which there really isn't a balance, but how do you deal with the situations with your children, being that they are PKs and, they're being looked at, people are watching them. Oh, that's, Chris Johnson kids, there's, CJ, he doing this, or, any of them. How do you help them through the things that they may go through? I mean, I know, let me see how I can fix this, because is it easy for them to come and talk to you about certain things because you are a pastor and you are their father?
Well, I try to make it easy for them. What's given me a lot of perspective is that I, too, am a PK. And I grew up in the house of a pastor. I've watched this. Everything my kids have to go through, I've been through it. So in some sense, I don't feel sorry for them. I remember CJ, he's my oldest. He came to me one time and he was just kind of distraught about this whole pressure of being the PK. And I told him, I said, it's because you're not embraced it yet. So quit running from it. Embrace it. You're the pastor's son. You can't run from that.
Right.
There's a call on my life, but you have a call too. Whether that's the pulpit or not, we don't know. But there's a call on your life. You can't run from that, son. I'm not going to stop pastoring anytime soon. So you got to learn to live with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I had to really help him understand This is your life. And so once he grabbed that, now we see the videos and the motive and the things he's doing now because he stopped running from it and he embraced it. Same message I give to Taraja and Jarrell. Like, you're not going to escape it. This is a part of your life. God called you to this. If he didn't, none of us chose our parents.
Right. Right.
So God did that. He chose who would be our parents, who he would give us, he would give us to care for us while we're on this earth. So if he put you in my house, that means he's got a certain plan for you. He's got a certain thing, a certain calling for your life. And my job is to help steer them in that. And so I tell them, don't run from that and embrace that. Shoulder the pressure. You're built for it, or God wouldn't have put that on you.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's good. That's some good stuff. Okay,
I got one more.
Final question.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to swerve and go to it. Yeah. I'm going to swerve and go to a different, go somewhere different. So, it left my mind. Okay. So you like to read.
I do.
A lot, right? So do you see the looks on the congregation's face when you use some of those words? You know, sometimes we hear about phones, and I'm a Googler, and I will grab my, what is that? Do you ever notice?
I do.
How we like,
I do.
What do you say?
And sometimes I use the words just to make you go. If I am, because I do that every sermon, I try to use a word, at least one, that is not normal vocabulary. Because if I'm getting you Googling, then I just taught you a new word. And now your vocabulary is expanding. So not only are you coming to church and you're learning word, you're getting more expansive in your vocabulary. And I think at the end of the day, my job is to provoke you not only spiritually, but also intellectually. And so if that's what we're doing, and I love to see it. I love to see, what's that word he just said?
Are they written down? Or you do off the top of the head?
No, yeah, I study them. I'll try to use the word at least that whole week. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you this. Okay, you can get this first Sunday. I'm probably gonna use the word juxtaposition. Right? She said, "Who did?" Yeah. So juxtaposition. I'll tell you the definition Sunday. Okay. So you coming Sunday, right? Praise the. Okay, good. So if you're watching this, you got to tune in Sunday. But I'll study that word and I'll put it in my notes and I'll use it all week long so that I can get familiar with it, and then I'll use it in the context on Sunday morning, and then that's when everybody's like, "What is that word?" But see, this is one of my challenges I do for myself. I'm learning new words, and so I try to at least use one new one on every Sunday.
I appreciate that. I used to do that. I used to try to get one word that I've never heard of, just go through the dictionary and be like, okay, I'm going to try this one. And then it seems like once I look up the word, I hear it. I'm like, oh, I know the meaning of that.
I know that word. Yes. I studied that word.
Yes. I can use it in a sentence.
That's good. That's good. Looking at the future for you, what is it that God, what season does God have you in?
You know, I think this is just a new beginning for me. I have been going through so much, a lot of stuff is starting new, relationship-wise, job-wise. It's just a lot of stuff has halted that I thought would continue to still be. So I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't know what this is, but I trust you.
Yeah.
Because I haven't worked since really December.
Wow.
I haven't worked, and I did a little tax work for a friend of mine, but I haven't worked since December, but I'm trusting God. My rent is still paid. We're still eating.
Look at that.
And I trust him. I recently got my degree in October.
Praise God.
Bachelor's.
Praise God.
Yes,
God.
It seemed like it took me 40 years. I'm only 45.
Yeah.
To get it, but, and I want to wait for the right. I don't want to just take anything. but the bills are adding up now. So
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to do something, but I'm really just trying to wait on God and just keep trusting Him. So I'm trusting Him. I'm 8. I had a couple of conversations with Aunt Rob, the Marables, and I was telling her about some stuff that I was going through. And 8:00 that morning, it started. And then we had Bible study that night. And when I was getting ready to leave, by the time we finished talking and I'm headed to the car, I get in the car, it's 8:00. I said, man, from 8 to 8, I've been dealing with this. And when I got home, I was talking to a friend. I was like, 8, what the Bible say about 8?
Come on.
Wait a minute, man. Whoa.
Come on.
I knew, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that just put me back because I almost had a panic attack.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I'm not working. I got kids. I got this. I got that. God said, and I got you. So.
That's a word.
That's it.
That's a word. I love that. God said, I got you. 8 is new beginnings.
Yep.
And that's what I pray over your life. And that even in this season that God is navigating you through, I pray that He would give you clarity. And I pray that the transition would be smooth. I pray that He will open up doors, even right now as we speak.
I receive it.
That He is opening up doors that's going to blow your mind.
You're gonna make
because
me
of your faithfulness and because of all that you have said in your heart and your mind that you would do. God knows that He can trust you with what He's getting ready to bring in your life. And so I speak that over you.
I receive it.
I know you do. Listen to me, everybody. This has been another episode of I Still Go to Church. Come on, tell me who your pastor is. I want to know. Drop it in the comments right now. Who's your pastor? And where's your church? It matters where you go to church. This has been Ebony James, Bishop Chris Johnson. I don't know about you, but we still go to church. Throw your Z's up. God bless you now.